Rabbit from Rabid Games here, and welcome to a short little quick video I wanted to make today. I'm back in Kerbal Space Program, some vanilla 0.90, and I just wanted to give you a little craft overview, so to speak. With the new aerodynamics model that's coming into 1.0, as I'm sure you're already aware of if you've watched my KSP news episode, or just generally read up on Kerbal Space Program in general. As you know, the aerodynamics will be getting completely overhauled, meaning that the centre of mass, centre of thrust and all that sort of stuff will be changed dramatically and will affect how your craft fly a lot more. At the moment in Kerbal Space Program, the aerodynamic system is not brilliant. Scott Manley has done many videos in the past outlining this, and all of them are rather hilarious. So I thought, what the hell, I've got some free time, I may as well do the same sort of thing. So here we are, we have a craft I basically just whopped together on the spot, and it's rather hilarious to fly. If I turn on the centre of mass and the centre of thrust and centre of lift indicators, you can see that they are very close together. We have the centre of lift on the centre of mass, but also due to this aerospike engine, our centre of thrust is also very close. As this is a very light craft, we do not need any lift, and of course I've enabled infinite fuel just because it's going to make things a lot easier. And so this is more, rather than showing the craft, so to speak, it's more just to show how unstable this thing can be, and just basically show my hilariously bad flying skills. So without further ado, here we go. We are on the runway. I've adjusted the gear from when the first time I recorded this because it just like sort of flopped back onto its tail like that. But it's okay now, because if I just enable SAS, we don't do anything. Okay. Looks like I'm going to have to take the gear up. And we're just sort of staying there. That's good. Here we go. We'll pitch down onto our front and then open the gear out again. And watch it wobble around like a mad thing. Okay, we'll just launch like this. So I'm just going to check I have infinite fuel enabled. I do have infinite fuel enabled. So without further ado, let's launch this baby. Gear up. And you can see, obviously, because we're quite light, and we're having a hugely powerful engine such as the aerospike powering us, we are going insanely quickly. So let's try and turn here. Let's try and roll. Let's try and turn. Okay, this is slightly better than before. But you can see how we're flipping around straight away. This is because the centre of thrust is so close to the centre of mass and the centre of lift. It is pushing us round basically in circles. Like I can basically do a 360-degree flip. Not quite there. This is an improvement over the first time I flew this thing. But you can see if I try to turn, not so much on the outside, but if I try to turn an inside roll, we can see we flip out of control. Now, this is due to, firstly, the centre of thrust being too close. And you can see us doing a backflip there. There we go, we're back rotated again. It's firstly due to the centre of thrust being very close to this central area here, but it's also due to the fact that these wings are not quite in the middle of this craft here. You can see that they're slightly lower, and obviously our yaw, it comes to something when our yaw has more power than our pitch and roll ailerons. These, because they are more recent additions through the Spaceplane Plus parts, these things have a higher lift rating than these winglets here, which means that obviously we're having to fight a little bit here if we are trying to get this craft further up into orbit. But if I do try and yaw, which is usually the least powerful to do, you can see we can instantly turn, and the SAS, obviously because it's really strong in the capsules, the SAS can instantly hold us, and we can basically turn like this. And it's kind of cool because it means we can make a little square in the sky here, as you can see, but we are kind of drifting. So I'm just going to hold us here, get our velocity vector pointing north, and then we can just spin around and kill our velocity here, and we can end up going back in the right direction. Wrong direction, whatever you may see fit. I kind of like this little craft here just because it's fun to play around in, and it really does showcase the flaws in Kerbal Space Program vanilla aerodynamics, because if this were real aerodynamics, especially if this were Ferrum or Nia, this thing would not fly. This thing would probably speed off like a bullet and crash at the end of the runway. But look, you can see here we're like pointing straight down at the ground here. And I will surely be able to pull out of this very quickly if I just do an inside roll. And you can see here we are pulling out of that. And this is just a really little fun craft to fly. I don't know, it's very easy to build. It's only got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's only got like 8 parts on it. So yeah, it's a bit of a cheaty craft obviously because it has no fuel tank. But like I say, it's very fun to fly. Unfortunately, it does sort of spin out. So let's revert back to the Space Center here and see if we can make this any better. Okay, so if I bring up the center of mass and the center of lift here, you can see that the center of mass arrow isn't quite in the center here. This little black square isn't quite aligned with this. Now usually with most craft, most larger space planes, this isn't much of a problem. Even ones that are only like a couple of fuel tanks, it's usually not a problem because the center of thrust is usually right at the back and the center of lift is somewhere sort of 3/4 along the way of the spacecraft, maybe even in the center. But because this craft is so small, this makes a huge difference. So what we need to do is we need to simply move these winglets up and maybe give it a little bit of a dihedral as well. Maybe not that way, but you can see how giving it a dihedral alters the center of mass, center of lift even. And you can see here we'll pop it on the correct position this time. Now that, in theory, should fly a lot better. So let's try that now. Let's save that and let's try and launch. Now hopefully, if my calculations are correct, which they probably aren't because I suck at maths, we should be able to turn just as well going on an inside roll as we do going on an outside roll. So let's take off here. Oh Jesus, that was a very nifty takeoff. You can see here already we are a lot more stable. You can see I'm holding this fine. It does want to flip out just a little bit, but we can catch that just with a little bit of roll. It does want to flip out, but we can catch that no problem at all. Oh dear, looks like I'm maybe stalling this. I may have to put my nose up, get us hovering. There we go. But you can see how it is a lot better, a lot more stable than the last thing. It does still want to flip out, and that's just because of the high thrust to weight ratio that we have on this craft. And it's kind of fun to sort of just play around with it because, like I've said so many times, this video is more to show this little craft and to show off how laughable the current aerodynamics are in Kerbal Space Program, how much better they would be. The new aerodynamics are going to be a square of your velocity, a function of the square of your velocity even, which does make them a lot more realistic. They're not going to be linear like these ones are at the moment. Don't ask me what that means. I am no aerodynamics, aerospace nerd by any means. I just like physics a little bit. And I'm not even that good at physics, but you can see here, even with quite a varying degree of pitch actually you can see on my pitch vector at the bottom here, you can see me applying quite a bit of pitch force and we're still not flipping out. This is what happens if I hold the pitch force. We can stabilize ourselves and we can do a full, I wonder if we can do a full 360 degree backflip. Let's have a look here. Oh, we can indeed. We even go a little bit further. That's quite cool actually. Okay, we're going to try and go for orbit now. Are we going to try and go for orbit? Nah, let's do some more tricks. Look at this. And I'll just be able to catch it. Look at that. I think we should have like some montage music playing in the background here. You see, we can just like flip it over. Like so, kill our velocity and carry on going. So yeah guys, this was just a little quick video, just because I've got a little bit of time to film a Kerbal Space Program video, just to show you what this is like. It's kind of fun to play around with it, but it will only be for a limited time obviously because 1.0 shall be coming very soon. I shall leave you now some sped up footage of me doing some tricks in this thing, but until then guys, I've been Bradders, I'm signing off, peace out.